Welcome back to a 5-man flex Q rank game cast, and you can see right off the bat, blue team, they got some team tryhards over there, Team OTS, and I'm assuming Nocturne is an honorary member of Team OTS, going up against a 5-stack squad in the flex Q rank game, I believe. Let me just double check. Yep, a flex Q rank game. Around the gold elo, this is going to be a 5-man stack. Going into this, Outplayed is active, but I am not even playing. I should not have that plugin installed. Why do I have that plugin installed? It is quite possibly the most useless plugin ever. No disrespect to the creators, of course. Alright, the teams are going to be loading in. The matchups are thus Renekton top against the Ornn. We're going to have a jungle Nocturne going up against the Jarvan. Mid lane, it is the Glacial Augment Veigar, a terrifying mid lane game threat. Heading up against Syndra, classic mid lane assassin, a very powerful character. Bot lane is going to be Jin's Thresh, a lot of lockdown, a lot of burst. Against Ashe, Bard. Two very powerful ADCs here. One for each other, for their own reasons, really. Ashe has a lot of sustained DPS output, and Jin just outputs quite a bit of damage in lane as well. Although Ashe's lane prowess is certainly very powerful, Wally spam is very difficult for a lot of matchups to overcome. So I'm sure that both bot laners will actually be just fine in this matchup. Oh, that was my headphone brushing up against the mic. I'm sorry if that was a really rough noise being picked up there. I am going to close my door. There. Now, a minute into the game, minions have spawned. And we're getting into it. Team OTS. I wonder what OTS stands for. Now, certainly, they're in the clan 9gasm, I believe. Yep. Every member of OTS is in the clan 9gasm. You can't queue flex with 4 people. So, this Nocturne has to be in the 5-stack. So, he's an honorary OTS member. But I can't really select people, and like the tab doesn't work here. Tab just turns off the scoreboard. I have to turn back on. I can't tab and see what their clan tag actually means or what OTS even means. So really, it's up to anybody's guess. What does OTS actually mean? Your best guess would be, if you're gonna guess at this, make it entertaining. Your best guess will be very funny, I'm sure. But Team OTS, I will expect great coordination coming out from a team who synced up their summoner names and even their clan. This is the hallmark, the step 1 of being a coordinated stack. Let's see if they can show that through their team play. I am expecting a lot of great early rotations and early aggression from teams that can capitalize on this, but here it is. The first gank actually goes over to the way of red team. Veigar is being slapped. Flash match for Flash. Syndra tanks 2 tower shots on her way out. The Baleful Strike does not land, and that means Syndra will survive that tower shot, and Veigar doesn't get anything back. It is going to be a flash trade, and Syndra, very late in Community Ignite, possibly missing out on first blood, and Nocturne immediately responds by going up top and stealing away the red buff, but red team, they're quick to the draw. Top lane Ornn gets pulled in, but he doesn't check the scene of the crime fully, so the Nocturne is just going to get out. Oh wait, he's greeting for this. He checks the cross cam, and now he's channeling the recall. Doesn't seem like anyone else is in the prime position to stop him, so he will just get out of there. So overall, the exchange does favor blue team here. It is flash match for Flash and mid. Veigar TP is back, so he doesn't actually lose that much. And this is going to be a triple buff coming out from the blue team's jungler, setting Jarvan actually more than 1 camp behind, as the CS numbers will show here. He's missing more than that. He's missing a buff, and that's going to hamper his clear time quite a bit. The hook, long distance hook, lands onto the Bard. The root is there. The trade goes out. Ignite Flay back. Bard needs to try to make a run for it. He flashes to the side to get that cosmic binding, and he dies for the stun, and it will not avail anything but the Thresh flash. No summoners bot lane except for the Jin flash, but they do get out their first blood on their ADC. It's seriously good pick there coming out from Team OTS. And so far, living up to their namesake, playing pretty well individually. I've yet to see any cohesive team movements. But certainly their tryhard is showing. with these individual lane performances. Slight advantages in all lanes so far. There was 3 lanes that lost. Well, lost is in the past. Lost in the past tense is not quite correct. Now the lanes have really lost yet. I will say, as far as most things are concerned, every lane matchup is still very much even. But 3 losing lanes is definitely a very precarious situation for any team. That might be a kill. No, it is not. Syndra is actually still decently healthy. In fact, not even chunked enough to go back home, but the Nocturne, he is going onto the Raptors. He wants some more here. He is going to take the small chickens. Jarvan is looking at it. He knows. Oh, and the Nocturne, he's going to leave a tiny one. Oh, no, come back and kill this. Oh, no, that's going to be disastrous. He assumed that was a full clear, and it is very much not. There is a tiny chicken left, and the Jarvan is going to get even less money from here. And Syndra really gets brought to near death. A lucky survival will force her to go back home. That means Veigar is going to climb up to a bigger and bigger CS lead here. He is also going to reset because he has no mana left. And even the Jarvan falling a little behind in his jungle, not finding a full Raptor camp to clear. Certainly could be in a much better situation, all things considered here. Now all 3 lanes in a somewhat behind situation, except for bot lane. Bot lane for red team is still very evenly matching the Jhin. Same items, essentially the same support state. The Thresh is a little bit, he's got the Kindle Gem as a power spec, which makes him actually decently hard to kill in lane. But still, this is not a big lead by any stretch of the imagination. It is the tiniest advantages from which Team OTS is establishing themselves in the early game. And everything is just waiting for that first movement, probably from a jungler. One that can blow the game wide open. Is this gonna be it? A hook does land onto the bar. The flay out of the Jarvan flag and drag. It is beautiful. His engage gets completely cancelled. Deadly Flourish will root him up. Is there any further engage? No, there is not. Jarvan gets brought to near death. He has to get out. That was an amazing flay, preventing Jarvan from getting in the back. But the Syndra has made her way down here. Thresh will land the hook on her, but there is no flay to bring her into the tower. Jhin will have to flash out. The Deadly Flourish connects onto the Bard. Oh, it really looked like it wasn't gonna hit there, but it does. That was a really strange hitbox. And now the Nocturne, he's not going to rotate bot. He's just going to go back for a second set of buffs. Because all this gank really did was blow the Jhin flash. Nocturne can go ahead and hit level 6 off his camp faster than Jarvan. Jarvan is still sitting at level 4. Which is going to be a seriously huge level discrepancy now that Nocturne is so close to 6. I believe after Raptors he will be. So this jungle discrepancy is going to sting pretty soon. Jarvan is still level 4. So they must assume Nocturne is not ready yet. But that is certainly not the case. He is so close to being able to ready. Oh wait, he's not level 6 after Raptors. Okay, now I gotta check his EXP bar. Yeah, after blue he will be level 6 then. That might be a solo kill up top. Yes it is. Slice and dice from the Renekton. Finishes off the Ornn. With just a Glacial Shroud, he can't really do that much to survive against the Renekton. He certainly needs harder hitting tank items, perhaps Signfire's Cave first. It's really strange to see an Ornn build Glacial Shroud first. You do seriously want... Well, first of all, I consider Balmy Cinder as a better tank item than Glacial Shroud. And second of all, you do want that Sunfire's upgrade. And getting Glacial Shroud kind of says you're going Iceborne, which means that your first upgrade might just be Frozen Fist, because you don't get to pick. As soon as you hit level 16, that's gonna... Oh, no! Oh, he paranoias out! Oh, and the Syndra Sphere, she might be killed off here. Unleash Power goes out onto the Nocturne with the Ignite. Is the rest of the damage there? Jarvan charges into the Event Horizon with no health. He flashes over, bringing the Primordial Burst with him, which will kill him off before he can land a hit onto the Nocturne. Disaster strikes here for a red team as Team OTS gets everything in that gank. Nocturne gets the buff, gets the kill, gets the second kill onto the jungler, and now he is decidedly 2 levels ahead of the Jarvan. I guess from here the game is over. But yeah, back to the Ornn point, you don't get to pick what item you upgrade. Now obviously it's the first item in your slot, right? But it automatically happens when you hit level 13. And by then, whatever item you have in your inventory, no matter what slot they're on, that's going to be the one to upgrade. I don't think you get 2 tank items done by level 13. Just in general. At least if you do, it's going to be too... Because you want the Sunfires, you don't want Frozen Fist. So you're going to get Sunfires, you're going to get Abyssal Mask. Because you don't really want to upgrade any other item. The other tank items are kind of poo-poo. So you don't go for anything aside from those. So getting Glacial Shell first delays your Sunfire's timing by quite a bit. Which I don't like, because Forge Fire Cape is just a busted item every time you get it. Nocturne is going to go mid. He does secure the kill on the Oran top lane. Now he gets a Herald. So everything coming up... what's that saying? Everything's coming up roses? Is it? I don't actually remember. But they will be getting a ton of advantages here all over the map just 10 minutes into the game. They have a 3,000 gold lead. This is the kind of lead you usually see around the 20-minute mark, not the 10-minute mark. And from here, the game is certainly poised to start ballooning out of control. The Veigar, too, about halfway done his GLP. He's got 1 kill lead. He's got CS lead over the Syndra, who still doesn't have Lost Chapter yet, which is an ultra bad sting when you see an inventory like that, because the recipe cost for Lost Chapter is 80 gold. And to have all of the components and not the chapter itself is really telling that you actually just based at the worst time imaginable, or in Syndra's case, when she was killed at the worst time imaginable, doesn't get that immediate power spike from the Lost Chapter. It's one of those items that is so much better than the sum of its parts, and unfortunately all you have are the parts and none of the sum. And because of the way the lane state is right now, you can't just back and pick it up. But that also means you're going to suffer a lot of mana problems. It's just so awful, and it's just such an awful feeling to be in lane with those items, but nothing else. Bard gets a beautiful ultimate here onto the tower, stopping the Herald charge from doing any damage, and that's just going to be a really fat crab slapping away at the tower. I hit, and that's going to be a Herald down without too much incident, and Syndra accidentally walking into the Dark Matter, going to be cleanly comboed down by the Veigar here for a second solo kill. Well, a second kill, not the second solo kill. And Syndra does pick up the stopwatch. Wait, really? That's... Maybe it's just personal preference. It's not technically a wrong buy or anything. Ooh, the Flag and Drag will miss, and Paranoia. Nocturne tries to take the express train out onto the Ash, but it will not work. Bard cuts him down where he stands, and this is going to be a dragon going over to Red Team. Red Team so far, their only really lane that hasn't lost horribly, it is the bot lane. So right now, Red Team is identifying that yes, we should be playing through bot lane. Renekton will pop the the name of his ultimate was on the tip of my tongue, and then my brain was like, okay, now say it, and then I forgot it. I swear I know his ultimate name, but here's the trade coming down. Renekton ultimate does expire. Oh, flash hit from the Ornn. He got creep blocked by his own pillar there, and he couldn't continue the chase. Syndra taking a ton of damage here from the Dark Matter, and here comes the rest of the cavalry. Syndra has to pop her stopwatch to survive, but the Dark Matter perfectly timed will cut her down. As soon as she comes out of stasis, the Jarvan might be the next victim here. He wants to make it to the journey, but he cannot make it to the door. The Bard will tie down the first guy that goes over, but the Jhin flashes in to confirm the double kill, and now he too is on the board. Team OTS is certainly having a great game this time around. The Ornn will now recall being almost 40, over 40, almost 50 CS down. He does desperately need that Sunfire's cape. And probably Mercurial, Merc Shreds. Not Mercurial, Mercury Shreds, Merc Shreds. Dominus! That is Renekton's ultimate's name, isn't it? Dominus. Yeah. That was on the tip of my tongue, and I forgot it. The first shot will kill Jhin, will kill the Jarvan from the Jhin under his own tower. That's going to be kill number 4 going over to the Jhin here. 10-3. Every laner or every core player on Team OTS is doing great so far this game. Renekton's super on the board, shutting down the Ornn in a really, really powerful way. The Veigar is just killing the Syndra left and right. And now bot lane. Ashe is still holding a very solid laning lead, but thanks to a really good mid roam from the Jhin, he gets himself on the board and he pockets so much money, and he's gonna come back to this lane and be a totally different beast. One that perhaps the Ashe may not be entirely prepared for. It is Stormrazor against Essence Reaver. They're more or less tied in power. And Ashe will not opt into this fight or anything. They will just let bot lane recall. Crystal Arrow is up. They could try to make for a pick if they were bold enough. They will not. They were recalling out of vision. It will be foolish to try to fire that arrow. Event Horizon will cut down the Raptors. Oh, Jarvan has not had a good time with the Raptors at all this game. First it gets denied and then it just gets stolen and then he dies next to it. It has just been a disastrous spot here for Red Team all game long. And now 15 minutes into the game. The gold lead, it is so big. It is a 6,000 gold lead at 15 minutes in. Are you kidding me? Very rarely do you get to see this kind of lead being built up, and there it is, Jhin with a Zeo in hand. He is gonna try to make something happen here. The flay away from the portal, and the bot laners take some extra time to make it out. Ashe gets isolated. Top lane Nocturne will kill off the Ornn for yet a third time, but Jarvan arrives to the scene and actually rescues the Ashe. So actually that's a really good play coming out. Flash forward Primordial Burst from the Veigar. That's gonna be his fourth kill in lane, and Syndra gets locked down for a fourth time this game. And the siege does go down on bot lane. The hook goes out onto the Jarvan. The flag goes down for attack speed. They want this tower. They need this tower. They do get it. And the Thresh might have overcommitted for it. He does ignite the Jarvan. But the Triumph plus the Damashian Paragon will heal him up and protect him long enough so the fire doesn't kill. Paranoia is up. Nocturne's in close proximity. He just needs vision. Can he get it here? He needs to make one dive happen to try to kill someone in the retreat, but he doesn't get it. He roams bot here to find nobody. But still, the rest of the solo lanes have their damage done already. Top turret has fallen. Mid turret has fallen. It is 2 towers to 1. It is 6,000 gold ahead still. The Renekton is crushing the Ornn. The Veigar is beating up the Syndra. The two solo laners here on Red Team are just not having a good game against their lane counterparts. Nocturne certainly has had a huge hand to play in both of these cases. The Ornn was not necessarily straight up outmatched by the Renekton either, and neither was the Syndra really. These kills really cascaded from a really great series of plays that more or less were started off by the Nocturne in some way. Because reminder, the Ornn actually did solo kill the Renekton even before a really good gank happened. This Jhin will cut off the Ashe, and the Ashe will have to point blank arrow out, and she does dodge the Dolly Flourish and the first shot. He is reloading, and the Ashe and Jhin will kill each other. Meanwhile, in the crater, the rest of the Red Team arrive, and they crush through the Team OTS. Primordial Burst goes down, the Aura Horn goes out, it tramples all over the Veigar. He is brittle, but he is running away. He has the GLP, it has already been used, and they cannot keep chasing. Now without Ornn Ultimate, now without Flag and Dragon Cataclysm, all of their major ultimates have been committed except for Unleash Power. Can they make this happen here? Dark Matter does drop onto the Ornn, and he runs forward with the Bellow's Breath into the edge of the Event Horizon and stuns himself. The dragon will be pulled out. Veigar cannot contest this from that distance. Red Team confirms the second dragon for themselves. The dragon count is 1-1. They make a really good play here, catching out so many critical members of Blue Team, dropping only the Bard's body. That is exactly what they needed, and they tried to pull this goal lead back. It is now down to 5.6k. 5.7k. They just got, 5.8k. 5.9k. What is happening here? They will be farming it back up. They do need to make that play, but a lot more times and onto all the other targets. Veigar is going to be their next pain point. Syndra will try to push him back. Can she outlast the Event Horizon? No, she wanders into it at the end, and Primordial Burst will kill her. Will just kill her off. I'm pretty sure she could have survived that if she didn't stun herself. Jarvan will kill the Grump, and now he has to flag and drag his way out, bring the Duskbringer trail with him. And Blue Team summons Herald. They're going to try for this yet again. Tempered Fate from Bard is still up. They could easily do this defense again, and they do. Herald once again charges into a block of gold and doing absolutely nothing. Paranoia gets cancelled by the flag and drag, but it is not enough. Ashe has been killed off by the assassination. 3 men trapped in the crater, but it is not going to matter. Triple kill going over to the Nocturne. He kills off everybody in the pit. Directed camera apparently didn't want to show the whole thing because it was too graphic for the big screen. Renekton does come in with the Unleashed Fury or whatever his W is called, and they do kill off the Syndra for their 4th target. And the Herald, he may have whiffed the first, he won't whiff the second and the third. He is down to a shred of life, but she still wants to make another charge. And here comes charge number 3 onto the Nexus towers. 87 health remaining. It is killed by the tower. It doesn't survive. Jarvan dives in headlong to his death, and there is still 4 men whacking away at the Nexus. The blue team, they are trying to end the game? No, that is so dangerous. Get out of there. I don't think you can end up this push. They're gonna try. Second tower is also dead. Thresh misses the hook. So many critical health members on blue team, but they're still going in. Flay backwards for the chorus, and now they need to try to put together defense. Unleashed Power kills off 2 from the Syndra. There is a double kill, but here comes the Veigar. He has no mana, but does he have everything else he needs to hold? GLP goes out for the stun, and the Primordial Burst is the last of his mana bar. Kills off the AD carry yet again. Unleashed Power onto the Gen. He gets caught out here. Now the Veigar has no mana. He is brittle. He needs to run the charge into a wall, doing absolutely nothing. Searing charge might not be enough, but the Ornn will help himself to the shutdown anyway. Nocturne will go ahead and help himself to the blue buff. They couldn't end the game off that push, and now they drop a lot of shutdown gold over to red team. They do widen the gold lead because of all the stuff they killed on their way in, but they certainly left a pretty big bounty for red team to work with on their way out. But the question is, when you've been given this much power spike or this much gold in terms of items, can you actually make any plays happen? Paranoia does come down from the Ashe. It's gonna be a solo dive. Volley will break the spell shield with the crystal arrow. Beautiful plays from the Ashe. Solo killing the Nocturne with the correct set of spells, not arrowing into the shield, wins her that solo kill. Can they buy items that immediately give them the power spike? I'm especially looking at the Syndra with almost 3,000 gold into her pocket and not a single completed item at 21 minutes into the game. They definitely need to put more power on the board. Blue team, they're going for Baron. They're on the ward. There's no discretion here. Blue team knows it. Red team knows it. They're hitting the giant purple snake in the river. Are they going to go out and try to contest this? Renekton is camping out blue team's the red side jungle of red team. Where did the word blue even come into on the whole thing? They're not gonna go for Baron. In fact, they are going to try to set up an ambush. Vision is being denied. Red side's jungle is totally dark for their own team. Cosmic Binding will try to slow down the Renekton, and the ball gets thrown into his face, but the Renekton just feels nothing. That stance will keep him decently tanky and decently survivable. Ornn gets trapped by the Event Horizon. He does make his way out. Veigar is such an oppressively dominant pick with Glacial Augment and GLP Twin Shadows. Your mid game is disgusting. It is one of the best mid game team fighter characters you could ever ask for. And they're kind of showing it here. Granted, he is cruising off a really solid early game lead, but at this stage in the game, he is borderline unkillable. And he can set up whatever kind of pick he wants to, almost killing people on command. Syndra, get this? She is going to get her first item in this Banshee's Wail, just to escape all of the point abilities. That is actually a pretty smart buy, although from someone in a position of being so far behind, losing Ludens, still not having Ludens rather, it is actually a huge detriment to the Syndra's ability to wave clear. I do like the adaptation to go for Banshee's Wail. I think that given this current situation, it should be the most correct choice. I guess the biggest worst spot for me is there's still no Ludens, and you need that item on mid lane mages. It is absolutely non-negotiable. I do think adaptation can wait until, you know, all the cores come down. There's not really anything to talk about in this fight. There's just a Dominus Alligator being completely unkillable, and the backline can't make it back in time, and they will drop, and that is going to be 4 bodies for nothing. Team OTS going to take a very swift victory, all things considered. Syndra going to get trapped in the cage. Let's see how much tankiness the Banshee's Wail can afford. Actually, probably enough to survive, but all the Syndra can do is wait in the fountain as the game comes to a close here. Blue team takes it over red team in a dominating fashion.